To make the items in this lesson, you will only need two 2-inch lengths of silver-plated 26-gauge wire. You can certainly use other gauges and materials, but that's what I'm using for the purposes of this lesson. The difference between an eye pin and a head pin is simple. An eye pin has a loop that's meant to serve as a connector, while a head pin has a terminating bead or knot that constitutes the boundary of a design. These loops, beads, and knots show up in many more ways than I will list here, but to get you started, I will be showing you how to make 2 types of eye pins in this lesson and 7 types of head pins in the next. So once we've straightened out the 2-inch lengths of wire, we can dive in. The first eye pin I will show you is the basic loop eye pin. To start, use the same exact technique that we used to make a plain basic loop with your round nose pliers. Here's the part that's different. Unlike a plain basic loop, we want the loop of an eye pin to be centered. So using your chain nose pliers, adjust the loop so the remaining wires stand straight up from the middle of the loop. You will notice that the loop opens a bit during this process. Gently use the chain nose pliers to close it. The second type of eye pin I will show you is the wrapped loop eye pin. About 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the wire, make a loop with your round nose pliers. Just as when we were learning how to make the basic loop, we come up against the fact that a human wrist will only twist so far. The first twist away from you will create a lopsided, upside-down U. We will now perform a fancy little move that I like to call the release and switch. Here's what I mean by this. To make the initial bend, you secured the wire in the jaws and twist it away from you. Now, you will release the wire from the pliers, twist your wrist back towards you, and slide the jaw closest to you between the bent wire. You will now be able to grip the short end of the wire and twist it around to complete the loop. The intersection of the loop will now form a 90-degree angle. You will need 2 pairs of chain nose pliers for this next part. Hold the loop firmly in 1 pair of pliers with the jaws parallel to the short end of the wire. Use the other pair of pliers to wrap this short end around the long end. I usually do 3 rotations. Once you've completed your rotations, trim the excess wire with your snips. Still holding the loop in your pliers, move the other pair of pliers in the same direction of the wrap to tighten the wire. And now, I will interject my opinion. Hands down, I always prefer the wrapped loop. First, I think it looks cleaner and more professional. Second, and probably more importantly, it's much sturdier. The basic loop can be maneuvered out of its original shape very easily, but you've got to work pretty hard to pull the wrapped loop out of shape. If these 2 styles had personalities, they would look like this. The wrapped loop requires a little more work up front, but is emotionally stable, reliable, and can withstand quite a bit of pressure. The basic loop, on the other hand, while fun and easy at first, turns out to be a bit neurotic and is prone to nervous collapse at the first sign of trouble. Where do I come up with this stuff? Nobody knows, not even me. Onward and upward to head pins.
Go, go, go!